Hey everyone, welcome to the Relationship Smith Show. We are live.
A teardrop tattoo is a real turn on.
Well, it's funny. I was thinking about this the other day. You know, clowns, how they often have like makeup with teardrops. Like that. Do they murder?
That's a
people?
sign.
I've always been suspicious of them. Like they are creepy, you know?
You have to look for the spider web on the inside of their hands too.
Yeah. I know all the meanings
Clowns.
of all the tattoos now. It's a kind of fascinating subculture, but not an ideal.
What did you learn about Fifi's?
Fifi's? I don't know that word.
It's an artificial vagina made using available materials in prisons.
Oh. Well,
like a rubber glove filled with little
that.
mayonnaise packets. Yeah.
Oh God. I'll have to ask you about that. There may be a good reason you never mentioned that, because it may have been a Cece, not a Fifi. I don't know.
Does it have to be mayonnaise?
No, you can, there's a lot of ways to make a Fifi. There's like, I saw a web show.
And now I do.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I wanted to like improve, like not, I want to give you something else to talk about in your relationship. I'm just a helper, really.
No, that's I definitely will ask him about that. I learned a lot. It is interesting. They get very innovative, like on how to, like he was talking about how someone threw a mirror at him, and I was like, oh my God, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, like no big deal. And I'm like, oh wait, a mirror in prison is the inside of a bag of potato chips, like the shiny side, stretched over a fruit cup with a rubber band. And I'm like, oh, I could have a mirror.
That's new to me.
Like that's no big deal. But
that's a level of creativity I hope to achieve someday. Holy crap, that's amazing.
It's amazing what they like, the ways that they create little like George Foreman grills out of like lighters, and it's crazy what they can come up with.
I saw a YouTube show that was prison cooking essentially, and it was an ex-prisoner who was talking about the meals that he can make using common prison rations and some stuff from the commissary or the store.
Yeah, it is really incredible. Like the burritos and stuff, and Jason would say it tastes just like it, but like it looks nothing like it. It's like they're just somehow they got a lot of time on their hands, so they're experimenting.
Sure.
Yeah, it's funny.
I'm constantly impressed by what when I was a kid, if you gave me a piece of string, I could amuse myself for hours. Now imagine I'm in a prison with a couple more things, and I'm pretty sure I'd go crazy, but you know, my creativity would be up there. I'd be one of those guys like, what if we did this?
Yeah. Well, and also the ways that they like get notes to each other, and like somehow Jason, he was just at LA County Jail, which is hell on earth. I mean, the conditions are just deplorable. And like, it's amazing that look, I get some of those guys deserve it, but like innocent until proven guilty. And you're there awaiting trial or, you know, awaiting a sentencing. And it is horrifying what they go through. But like, he somehow managed to get from 20 cells down, there was an empty cell, and he wanted another mattress, and they managed to get, and when I say mattress, it's like a very thin, you know, not a real mattress, but they balled it up and somehow got it through the bars, and it got passed along with a rope made out of torn up sheets, like all the way down the hallway without the prison guards knowing. And like the amount of work that went into that, and then 3 days later they raided the cells and they took it away, of course. But like, it's impressive the efforts that they'll go to knowing that these things can happen, you know?
How many cigarettes does something like that cost? Because you got to pay off a lot of people, right?
Yeah, that part I don't know exactly, because like where he was in protective custody, so because anyone with any kind of level of celebrity, but also he's a professional fighter, and weirdly enough, like the guys, the young gangbanger types, like would pick fights with him, or they would like the first 24 hours he was there, someone tried to stab him and someone tried to spear him, because it's a way for them to like prove themselves in their gang
reputation. Yeah,
because he's like, "Oh, you beat up Mayhem?" Like, whoa, that's crazy. But that's his nickname. See, I talk about that too. Like I tend to date people for like material or not. That's not a conscious decision, but like, it's bad when you go on a date with someone and he's like, my friends call me Mayhem. Like most girls would run away, and I'm like, ooh, tell me more, like.
No, I've lived. My nickname is Hammer, and it's the dumbest nickname in the world. But yet people are like, oh, why do they call you that? I'm like, it's a dumb name. Like,
but the prison nicknames are the funniest things I've ever heard. Like one of the guys in a cell down from him was Destructo, which to me sounds like a broken transformer. Like,
yeah, or a GI Joe bad guy.
Yeah, well, and apparently he was like this little pudgy white guy that didn't look like he could hurt a fly, so like he gave himself that nickname. But the guy next to him was Snapper, and I was trying to I was like, what? Because like he's like a fish or like, and
or a pussy.
Like, no, he just snaps at people. Like,
hey, what about your nickname? What you have a nickname? Are you really? Does your dad really call you STD?
Sorry, that was my dog. I don't know if you heard the weird noise. Well, he calls me saber-toothed daughter, which he shortened it at one point, because in the UK they say STI, not STD. Not that I think he knows what those are. He's a little sheltered, but yeah. But in all fairness, at one point I called him the Octo Dad. Which, like, do you remember the Octo Mom? I know it's
yes,
but it was because he also has like a C-section scar. It looks like a C-section scar because he had diverticulitis, and I might have told this story. I did a few times during the Q&A. He had like a foot of his small intestine removed from diverticulitis, which I tried to sell on eBay.
Hell yeah!
Because like for some charity auction, he donated his tonsils, and they sold at auction for £10,000. And I was in high school when this happened, so I was like, I'm going to be rich. And then I just got kicked off eBay for life because you're not allowed to sell body parts. Like, who knew?
Prudes.
Bullshit.
Prudes.
It just goes straight to kidneys.
Yeah, I also put my ex-boyfriend on there, and you can't sell humans either, which fucking boring, right?
Why even have an auction site?
Yeah, that's what I said.
know?
And now I'm never allowed back on eBay, but I'll live.
Yeah, it's okay. You can move on.
Yeah.
So okay, we have you promised us an hour, and I don't want to take too much more, but I heard you mention this in another interview. Are you still afraid of Miss Piggy?
I haven't run into her lately, so
okay.
But
that was a great story, and I would like to hear the long version, if you have a long version of it, because you just touched on it
super well. But my dad was filming something with the Muppets, and I went to set, and he was thinking like, "Oh, she'll love this. I love Sesame Street and all that." And Frank Oz was there, and he's friends with my dad, and so Frank got Miss Piggy out, and she started talking to me, and I burst into tears. This is like 3 or 4 years ago. I was like 6, but still, it is like hard to comprehend when you're a little kid. Can you hear those noises? My dog makes great. Come here. Come on. I'll take you down. Herky. Come on, baby. I know. I'm your elevator. Okay, there you go. Sorry about that.
Thanks, Mom.
But yeah, like it's a funny thing when your parents are on TV. You get these weird experiences. I thought everyone's parents were on TV because my mom was on TV. My sister's mom was on TV. She was in Fawlty Towers with my dad. And then my mom was like a model that did some acting. She was in Rollerball. And then my stepbrothers, their biological dad, he was a professional golfer. So all of our parents were on TV. So I thought that's like where parents existed, kind of like I don't. And like my dad took me to a premiere once where he dies in the first 5 minutes of the film, and I was a kid and I'm sitting next to him, and when he died, I was like, and then I looked at and I realized he was sitting next to me, and I was apparently very mad at myself for like not getting it.
Not getting it, yeah.
This weird blurred line, you know. He was always running around in drag, and like all of my childhood photos are he's in like a priest costume or a policeman's outfit, or you know, there's never just like normal clothes, normal scenario. It's just I should have sent you guys some to put up there because they're ridiculous. Like one taken by Annie Leibovitz where he's holding me upside down by my ankle. I'm in a little dress and he's in like a high heels and a dress, fishnets, blonde wig. We had to bring in photos of our parents for show and tell when I was like 5 or 6, and he gave me that photo to take in. They were going to put them up on the class bulletin board. This is when I lived in England, and I went to the sister school to where the princes went. So it was like very strict and very conservative, and so they just canceled the exhibit. They're like, we're not going to do that. But
I love it. I love the fact.
Sometime.
Sorry?
I hope I get to be that dad for my kids sometime. I'm getting a school event canceled because I was too funny.
I don't think they thought it was funny is the best part. They were just like, we can't possibly put some men in women's underwear up on our board.
That makes it even more funny.
Yeah.
It's like they had never seen Monty Python. You know, like this
school,
what
I wouldn't be surprised, but he broke up I threw a party in high school and he had filmed some commercial. For some reason, he went through this phase where they always wanted him in drag, and he came home from shooting the commercial. He wasn't supposed to be back till the next day, and he was still in drag, and he broke up the party in drag, which is a great way to like public humiliation was basically my punishment for most of my childhood. Like, cause he doesn't have, I think I'm immune to embarrassment now too, but like he, you know, if I was being bad in public, he would start acting like a gorilla. Like he would get down on all fours and be like, hoo, 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 hoo. And it worked. Like I would immediately just stop talking to him and act like I didn't know him, but walk 6 feet behind him and be very quiet. You know, it's like,
yeah, I love it. So the Miss Piggy thing, he expected you to.
Well, I think they thought
blown away.
Excited, but like when I realized that there was a guy with his hand up her butt, and like, you know, it just like when you're a kid, you don't grasp that's like, I thought Miss Piggy was like a not a person, but like a talking pig, and then
sure,
it just blew my mind, I guess.
Now she's being violated by Frank Oz.
Yeah. I didn't mean to be like, oh, she's getting fisted, but yeah.
No, but she was.
Sorry, that was so gross. But yeah, there's a lot of those things were very, looking back, it's all funny, but like, I'm also super gullible, which is a terrible thing when you live with comedians and lawyers. Cause like, I thought I was purchased at Harrods for a good portion of my life. Till I was much older than I should have. Like they had a big Harrods bag in the front hall closet that my dad would chase me around with and be like, you're going back. But maybe it worked.
I feel like
I don't have any debt and I'm still afraid of department stores. Like they give me anxiety. Yeah. So
I feel like I'm laughing at your childhood trauma, but there's something about it that I recognize too. So
yeah. They also told me I was Chinese and Ethiopian when I asked what ethnicity we were. And I told everyone that for like a lot longer, because as a kid, like you don't know that's like, looking at me, I was like towhead, lanky blonde. Like that was not what I would look like, but I didn't know what that meant.
How would you know? Is this what I guess I look Ethiopian now. Yeah.
Well, you have to have a base of knowledge to get jokes. And it's funny because my dad doesn't really understand kids. It's like once you can walk and talk, you just get treated like an adult, and to some degree at least. And so they would tell me things all the time, and like I believed them because you do. You just believe your parents. So
Mhm.
the moral of the story, kids, if there's any children out there listening, don't believe your parents.
Don't ever believe your parents.
Don't ever.
It's a bad idea.